Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Bold and Beautiful today. Sheila is alarmed by Remy's clue while Steffi freaks out over Hayes' gift. The present Hayes Finnegan brings home from his school art program will leave Steffi Forrester speechless. Let's discuss about all the B&B drama since Remy Price will also provide Sheila Sharp a tip that makes her frightened. At Ms. Dillon's request, Luna Nozawa, also known as Ms. Sunshine, came to the beach home to teach the children how to make origami. Naturally, if Ms. Dillon had known that Luna was a dangerous person with the police after her, she would not have permitted this. However, Hayes has been receiving additional care from Ms. Sunshine, who has even offered to assist him in creating a unique gift that would amaze his mother. Steffi will be shocked when Hayes returns to the Cliff home with this gift on Wednesday's B&B episode. According to teasers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Taylor Hayes' return will leave Steffi and Hayes in disbelief. Is it possible for Hayes to have an origami creation created utilizing the picture of Steffi's face with the bullet holes in it? Now that he's been thinking about their time at the shooting range, Remy and Sheila might start talking about that picture. Remy might acknowledge to Sheila that he made a mistake by teaching Luna how to aim and shoot. Considering some of the remarks Luna just made, it's possible that Remy may also provide updates on Luna using Steffi's photo for target practice, leaving Sheila appalled. It won't be difficult for Sheila to figure out that Luna wants to shoot Steffi because she made hints about having one last thing to do in LA and that she was leaving with a bang. The scene will be set for a fierce confrontation when Luna kidnaps Ms. Dillon and forces her to entice Steffi to the beach house in the upcoming episode or two. Steffi Forrester had grown accustomed to surprises in her life, unexpected twists and turns had become almost as common as her morning coffee. But nothing could have prepared her for the unsettling shock that awaited her the moment her son Hayes Finnegan walked into the Cliff house clutching a special gift from his school art program. With a bright, proud smile that only a child could wear so innocently, Hayes extended the carefully wrapped bundle to Steffi, who immediately noticed the strange rigidity of the paper beneath his tiny fingers. At first, it seemed harmless, sweet even, just another one of those crafts teachers love assigning to preschoolers to keep their creativity stimulated. But as Steffi slowly unwrapped the paper and peeled back the final layer to reveal the content inside, a wave of cold confusion swept over her, quickly giving way to full-blown alarm. The moment her eyes fell on what appeared to be a folded origami design made with a printed photograph, her own photograph, defaced with jagged black bullet holes and crude ink target circles, the warmth drained from her face. "Hayes, sweetie, where did you get this?" she asked, trying to keep the quiver out of her voice, hoping the unease in her stomach was just paranoia, not the prelude to another nightmare. Hayes blinked innocently and pointed to Ms. Sunshine, the nickname given to Luna Nozawa, the cheerful woman who had been stopping by his school recently to help out with art lessons. Steffi's mind spun. Ms. Sunshine was an alias, of that she was now sure. Luna Nozawa, a woman known to be troubled, possibly dangerous, and now she was posing as an innocent art teacher? Steffi's hands trembled as she examined the twisted gift. The origami itself had been delicately folded, but the materials and message behind it were anything but childlike. Taylor Hayes, who had come over earlier for a grandmotherly visit, was equally horrified when she saw the object. "This isn't just inappropriate," Taylor said, her clinical instincts kicking in. "This is intentional. This is a threat, masked as art." Elsewhere in Los Angeles, Remy Price was pacing the length of his apartment like a caged animal. He hadn't slept properly in days, not since he started having flashbacks to that afternoon at the firing range with Luna. At the time, it had seemed like harmless practice, a chance to teach her how to shoot for self-defense, she had said with a sly smile. But now, remembering how she had insisted on using a photo for target practice, Steffi's photo, Remy was starting to panic. He hadn't thought much of it then, chalking it up to some petty grudge Luna had hinted at from her past. But now, as pieces began to fall into place, Remy could no longer deny what was becoming horrifyingly obvious: Luna Nozawa wasn't just holding a grudge. She was planning something. Something final. Unable to sit with the weight of his fear, Remy made a rash decision. He went to Sheila Sharp, one of the few people he knew who might actually understand the stakes involved. Sheila had a reputation, a shadowy past filled with manipulation and madness, But even she was startled when Remy relayed what he knew. She used Steffi's photo for target practice. I didn't think anything of it then, but now? She said she had one more thing to take care of before she left LA. That she was going out with a bang. Sheila's usually stoic expression faltered as she pieced together the implications. Luna wasn't just toying with the idea of violence, she had a plan. And that origami gift Hayes brought home was the first move in whatever endgame Luna had constructed. Sheila's instincts screamed at her to act, and quickly. She knew Luna's type, calculated, methodical, willing to play the long game. And worst of all, she knew how children could be used as pawns in such sinister games. The fact that Hayes had been involved, used as the delivery boy for what was essentially a veiled threat, infuriated Sheila in a way she hadn't felt in years. Despite all her past transgressions, her twisted loyalties, she had grown fiercely protective of her family's younger generation. Hayes was her grandson too, and now he had unknowingly become a piece in Luna's psychotic puzzle. That could not be tolerated. Meanwhile, Luna was on the move. With every step, she felt a strange, exhilarating sense of control. Her plan was unfolding perfectly. By infiltrating the school system under a fake identity and winning the children's trust, she had laid the groundwork for her psychological campaign. The origami gift had been a test, a message meant to shake Steffi's composure. And it had worked. She had seen it in Steffi's eyes during the brief interaction outside the school gates earlier that day. The fear was setting in. But Luna wasn't done. No, she had one more card to play, and it involved Ms. Dillon, the unsuspecting teacher who had naively welcomed Ms. Sunshine into her classroom with open arms. That night, Luna made her move. Under the guise of returning art supplies, she arrived at Ms. Dillon's house and quickly revealed her true intentions. Within minutes, she had taken the woman hostage, silencing her with duct tape and ropes, whispering sinister promises about how she wouldn't be hurt, as long as she did exactly what Luna instructed. The next morning, Ms. Dillon, visibly shaken and acting strangely robotic, made a call to Steffi. "There's something wrong with Hayes. I think he left something at the beach house. You should come by right away," she said, her voice flat, clearly rehearsed. Steffi's maternal instincts flared up immediately. She agreed without hesitation, unaware she was walking straight into a trap. Back at the Cliff House, Taylor was urging caution. "Something about this doesn't feel right," she told Steffi. "You don't even know what Hayes is supposed to have left behind." But Steffi shook her head. "If there's even a chance something's wrong with him, I need to check. I won't forgive myself if I ignore this." As Steffi drove toward the beach house, her heart pounded in her chest. Flashbacks of the origami, the haunting precision of the bullet holes, the eerie calmness in her son's voice when he spoke of Ms. Sunshine, they all collided in her mind, raising every red flag she had. Inside the beach house, Luna was ready. She had positioned Ms. Dillon in the corner, bound and gagged, but visible enough to draw Steffi's attention the moment she entered. She had also rearranged the room to mimic a warped version of Hayes' art class. Paper cranes dangled from the ceiling, some bearing Steffi's face, all of them pierced with pins. The walls were plastered with drawings, childish scribbles, but each depicting a disturbing scene, a woman falling, a gun in a hand, a red X over a face. It was an art installation of madness. As Steffi stepped through the front door and froze at the sight before her, Luna emerged from the shadows with a gun in hand. "Welcome, Steffi," she said softly, her voice chilling in its calmness. "I've been waiting for this moment. Don't worry, you'll get to say goodbye. Just like I never got to." Steffi's eyes darted around the room, her brain desperately calculating escape routes, angles, anything that could buy her time. "You don't have to do this, Luna. Whatever pain you're carrying, this won't fix it," she said, trying to keep Luna talking, trying to reach the humanity that might still exist in the woman's fractured psyche. But Luna was unmoved. "You took everything from me," she hissed. "My life, my chance at happiness. You act like you're untouchable, but you're not. Not today." The standoff dragged on, each second stretching into eternity. Back at the Cliff House, Taylor, growing increasingly worried, finally contacted Finn, who was out of town at a medical conference. Once he heard what had happened, he immediately contacted the LAPD and set off toward the beach house, praying he wasn't already too late. As the final act of this harrowing drama approached, Sheila made her own entrance. She had followed the trail, thanks to Remy's confession and her own instincts, and now she stood at the edge of the beach property, watching through a window as Steffi faced down a loaded gun. For the first time in years, Sheila felt something pure, fear for someone else. It ignited her, filled her with adrenaline. With practiced silence, she crept around the side of the house, slipping in through the back door. The moment Luna's attention shifted, Sheila struck. The gun fell to the ground during the ensuing struggle, and Steffi seized the moment to grab Ms. Dillon and pull her to safety. Police sirens wailed in the distance as Luna, defeated and furious, screamed unintelligibly, her plans collapsing around her. Sheila, panting and wild-eyed, stood over her with clenched fists. "You don't touch my family," she growled. "Not now. Not ever." As officers poured into the beach house and cuffed Luna, Steffi sat on the steps outside, clutching Hayes' origami gift in her hands. What had started as an innocent child's project had turned into a twisted symbol of trauma and resilience. She looked up at the sky, tears streaking her face, and whispered a silent vow: no matter how dark the shadows that crept into their lives, she would always fight for the light. And for Hayes. For her family. For the future. Because no threat, no matter how veiled or violent, would ever take them from her again. Sheila suspicious, Remy connects, and Luna and Hayes bond. Sharp, Sheila Carter, is suspicious. Remy Price gets back in touch. Luna Nozawa also develops a bond with Hayes Forrester Finnegan. Tridge excitation. She swoons over her mother's engagement diamond at Steffi Forrester Finnegan's house. Thomas Forrester is also thrilled, according to Steffi. The engagement is less important to Ridge Forrester than Luna. According to Steffi, they received information, but not quite enough. There is no update when Ridge phones Deputy Chief Bradley Baker. They all point the finger at Bill Spencer. Ridge also places some of the responsibility on John Finn Finnegan. Steffi stands up for her spouse. Katie Logan's finding. Will Spencer and Electra Forrester discuss the undercover operation with Katie Logan at Forrester Creations? Katie loses it and declares that Will owes Steffi nothing. Will claims he took this action to keep Electra safe. Katie begins to cry when she finds out that Luna aimed a gun at Will. Sadly, Luna is currently evading capture. Like his father, Katie chastises her son for wanting to be a hero. Will was fortunate, but Katie cautions him against letting bravery ruin his life. Electra asks Will if he would actually box Luna if Katie departs. Will claims that he would help her. Suspicious of Sheila Carter Sharp. Luna moans about Steffi and whines about Finn at Sheila's house. The young woman complains about her stepmother while pacing wildly. Luna needs to do one more thing before she leaves town. Sheila thinks it's great that you're going, but what are her plans? The logistics are still a work in progress for Luna. They give each other a farewell hug. Luna assures us that her farewell will be spectacular. Remy Price gets back in touch. Remy text messages Luna and Il Giardino. Sheila shows up and asks him why he's there. He believes Sheila is also concerned about Luna. Sheila seems to be on the verge of learning that Remy taught Luna how to shoot a rifle. In the meantime, Hayes, Ms. Dillon, and Luna are at the art school. Luna's origami is being admired by them. Luna is overjoyed to meet Hayes once more. Hayes said his mother adores the crane he made with Miss Sunshine while they play with origami. Luna proposes that they create something truly amazing for Steffi. At Steffi Forrester Finnegan's elegant home nestled above the cliffs of Malibu, light dances across the waves below as she admires the shimmer of her mother's newly given engagement ring, a family heirloom that holds not only sentimental value but also years of tangled Forrester legacy. Despite the occasion, Steffi's mind isn't entirely on Ridge and Taylor's rekindled romance or even the glinting diamond on Taylor's finger. It's on Luna Nozawa, the elusive and enigmatic woman who suddenly vanished under suspicious circumstances. Ridge Forrester, caught between paternal pride and growing frustration, paces the floor as he hangs up his phone with Deputy Chief Bradley Baker, clearly displeased with the lack of progress. "We don't have enough," Ridge mutters, more to himself than to Steffi or Thomas, who stands in the corner thumbing through Luna's last art portfolio. Despite their efforts, Luna remains a ghost on the wind, gone in an instant, her trail cold but not forgotten. Ridge makes it clear he's not only blaming Bill Spencer, who's always managed to muddy the waters with his power plays, but also placing some responsibility on John Finnegan, Luna's stepbrother, for letting the situation spiral. Steffi's protective instincts ignite as she defends her husband, asserting that Finn has been nothing but supportive, though privately she wonders whether she missed some sign, some moment, when Luna turned from vulnerable to volatile. Meanwhile, across town in the sleek offices of Forrester Creations, Katie Logan's voice echoes through the halls like a sudden thunderclap as she reacts to the shocking revelation that her son, Will Spencer, was involved in an undercover operation tied to the Luna investigation. Electra Forrester, the poised and confident young designer with a rebellious edge, stands nervously beside him, her usually sharp wit dulled by guilt. Katie is horrified when Will explains how Luna, in a moment of desperation, pointed a gun at him. Katie's maternal instincts flare into overdrive, and she scolds him harshly, telling him that bravery and recklessness are not the same thing. "You're not your father," she snaps, "and don't let that urge to be a hero destroy your life like it almost did his." Will, wounded but composed, quietly states he did it to protect Electra, his voice low but steady. As Katie exits the room, fighting back tears, Electra turns to Will and asks the question that's been circling in her mind: "Would you really fight Luna?" Will doesn't hesitate. "I would," he says, "for you." The air between them tightens, full of unsaid emotion and the tension of youth trying to outrun the past. Meanwhile, in the shadows of Los Angeles, Luna Nozawa finds herself in a place of quiet refuge, Sheila Carter Sharp's apartment. Luna, her eyes wild with resentment and fear, paces as she talks about Finn and her ever-looming resentment of Steffi. She acts like she owns him. "Like I'm just this stepchild charity case," Luna vents, her voice cracked from suppressed tears. "I never even had a mother figure. Then suddenly, I have Steffi, judging me from behind designer lashes." Sheila, who's been through more than enough to spot a spiral when she sees one, listens carefully. She's suspicious, not just of Luna's emotional state, but of her intentions. "So what are you planning?" she asks casually, but her eyes narrow like a predator's. Luna gives a non-answer. She doesn't have a plan, not fully. But there's something she has to do before she leaves town. "I want to go out with a bang," Luna whispers with a trembling grin, and Sheila knows that's never a good sign. Still, they hug, and there's a strange warmth in it, a faux maternal moment between two women who've rarely felt safe with anyone else. But once Luna is gone, Sheila doesn't smile. Instead, she sits down, brows furrowed. Something's off. And she's going to find out what it is. At Il Giardino, the sun is setting, casting golden light over the patio as Remy Price, quiet and unassuming, nurses a cappuccino. He pulls out his phone and sends a message to Luna: "Are you okay? I need to talk to you." This isn't how it ends. Just as he hits send, Sheila appears out of nowhere like smoke, startling him. "Why are you here?" she asks, voice sweet but laced with a razor's edge. Remy, caught off guard but unwilling to back down, says he's worried about Luna. "She's not okay, and I think you know that." Their conversation tightens like a noose when it becomes clear that Sheila suspects Remy might have done more than just offer emotional support. "You taught her to shoot, didn't you?" she accuses. Remy hesitates, and the pause says everything. Sheila's suspicion deepens. She doesn't want to believe Luna could become dangerous, but then again, Sheila's life has been built on the unexpected turn, the shocking betrayal, the hidden darkness in seemingly innocent eyes. Back at the local art school, surrounded by walls covered in student paintings and sculptures, Luna kneels beside Hayes Forrester Finnegan, her half-brother by love if not blood. He's giggling, gleefully folding origami cranes under the watchful eye of Ms. Dillon, the school's quirky but wise art instructor. Luna smiles, really smiles, for the first time in days. She's missed Hayes, his curiosity, the way he makes her feel human again. Remember that crane we made? Hayes chirps. Mom still has it on the fireplace. She says you're Miss Sunshine. Luna laughs, though the nickname stings a bit now. Let's make her something new, she suggests, her fingers moving rapidly through colored paper. Something that'll really blow her away. They craft birds, dragons, even a tiny paper violin. The act, though simple, connects them deeply. Hayes trusts Luna completely, and as they laugh and work, Luna feels the heaviness of her choices for a moment dissolve. But even in the joy of bonding, she knows this moment won't last. She'll have to leave soon, before everything comes crashing down. As night falls, the city buzzes with tension. Sheila's eyes scan Remy as he walks away, her mind already calculating. At Steffi's home, Ridge is on his second glass of scotch, scrolling through Luna's old Instagram, trying to read between the lines of smiling selfies. At Forrester, Electra stares out the window while Will flips through an old yearbook with Luna's picture circled in pen. And somewhere across the city, Luna looks out over the skyline, origami dragon in her pocket, knowing that whatever peace she found with Hayes was borrowed time. The storm she's created is about to break, and she's not sure who'll survive it. Sheila knows it, Remy fears it, Steffi suspects it, and Katie dreads it. But none of them, can predict what Luna will do next. Because this isn't just about jealousy, or a runaway, or a simple case of girl gone bad. This is legacy colliding with trauma, innocence hiding a weapon, and love strained to the brink of madness. Luna Nozawa is no longer just a shadow in the Forrester household. She's a spark near the gasoline. And the match is already lit.